Hello. Welcome to another episode of Heim Time. This is Emma Heim.
I'm Travis.
What's up?
Not much. Welcome to another wonderful episode of Heim Time Podcast. This podcast is sponsored by
Trace Agave Tequila.
Tequila.
Aquí.
Delicious Trace Agave's Tequila. It's 100% organic tequila. Did you know that?
I did. Did you guys know that?
What else do you know about it?
I know that there's 3 types
Right.
of tequila. Blanco, Añejo, and Reposado.
Boom.
They also have mixers that
Delicious.
go along with these, so you can do all-in-one purchase when you're at the old shop.
Yeah.
Tequila
also
shop.
great just with on the rocks.
Yeah, a little
with
salt, a little lime.
Oh, yeah. Delicious. So shout out Trace Agaves. Thanks for sponsoring this podcast. A lot of stuff to talk about today. A lot going down. Shout out to the Patreon supporters. We are up to 36 Patreon members.
Wow.
Crazy. If you don't know what that is, you can support this podcast directly, $5 a month, pretty cheap, to be honest. We release all the videos and stuff on there early. We do some other cool, fun stuff. You can ask questions. If you want to ask a question and you're not a Patreon member, we're not going to listen. So go to Patreon and shoot us your questions, topics, and we will talk about them. So a big one, Ben and Amanda Bacher from Wasilla, Alaska, which is a real place, and they have a barbecue food truck there, Expedition Barbecue. So shout out to them supporting the podcast. We appreciate it. Very nice people. We'll probably talk about meeting them in. I mean,
we did talk about it, I think.
Did we already?
A little bit. We mentioned it last time, I think.
I don't know what
and
day
then
it is.
And then she was like, I'm going to sponsor you guys on the podcast on Patreon.
Nice.
And I was like, you're awesome.
And then our other big one, and I don't know if I even told you this, Robert Floyd.
Oh, wow.
Robert Big Cat.
A.K.A. Big Cat?
Floyd. The OG coming to the food truck. Awesome guy. Love him.
Dude.
And Orla, right?
Yeah. Many great times were spent food truck days with him.
Couple of beers drank. But Big Cat, if you're familiar with the Big Cat sandwich, that was from the brainchild of one Robert Big Cat Floyd. So we kind of made that an homage to Big Cat. He's a great guy. So he supports this pod, so we really appreciate it. So shout out to everybody, patreon.com/Heim Time Podcast, YouTube, Apple, whatever, Spotify, blah, blah, blah. Hope you like this. We've got a lot of good feedback lately, so we're just going to keep on our bullshit. So enjoy. Anything else?
That's it. Let's do it.
Hit it, Paul.
Good evening from Fort Worth, Texas. It's slow here in the heat. We're down Main.
Welcome back to another episode of Heim Time Podcast, sponsored by Trace Agave's Tequila.
Drink responsibly.
Or don't. No, I'm just kidding.
Have a good time with it.
A lot going on this week. We have some... we didn't even write down Yellowstone either. I guess we shouldn't spoil. We don't want to spoil.
Man, Yellowstone, Secession, Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah, you just got into that.
Oh my gosh.
A lot to talk about.
Speaks to my soul. So funny.
We had a little fun day trip yesterday, which was great. So hopefully some good stuff for the pod today. But one of the, I guess it's taken over the tweets, the Twitter, and a bunch of other stuff. One Taylor Swift has been in the news, and you wanted to make...
I just got some conspiracy theories about it, if we can just hash them out, because I just got some questions, and I think probably a lot of people do or not because they're sucked in, but There's some stuff
So-
we should hash out. Also, female artists in general have been blowing up this week.
Adele's thing, right?
Adele, she did her Oprah, and and then she did a concert in front of the Griffith Observatory in LA, which is like, we used to hike there when I was a kid, which is
awesome.
really freaking cool, and then like awesome. And what else? Then Britney, we can get to that.
Britney, yeah.
Officially free. So
Completely free, I guess.
yeah, yeah. So we
Which,
can talk about that later. But
yeah.
and then this T Swift deal.
So are you, just to put it out there, are you a Swiftie?
No,
And how does one define a Swiftie?
I think it's like an obsession.
Okay.
Yeah, look it up. A
I'm Googling.
Taylor Swift Swiftie meaning.
Okay, talk while I'm doing this.
I think it is like an obsession. Like, she has a cult following, you could say, which we've talked about cults a couple times on here.
What are Taylor Swift fans called? To be such an influencing icon, she must have a pretty dedicated... Okay. And then it just goes... All right. Let me try again. Then it just goes away. She must have a pretty dedicated fandom, which she definitely does. Taylor's fans call themselves Swifties, and their being a social group is the subject of the... Okay, this is worthless, but anyway. They call themselves Swifties. I guess if you're like a diehard
Yeah, it's like
fan,
you're just a diehard,
you're in the fan club. You're
it's like if you're a Grateful Dead, you're a Deadhead. Like, it's a Swiftie, it's a thing, it's a community or whatever, I guess. But so, no, I'm not. Are you a Swiftie? Isn't it a believer?
Belieber.
Is a
This thing
beaver?
says
Justin Bieber.
Billie Eilish refer to themselves as pirates, inspired by Eilish's middle name. What the hell does that
I don't
mean?
like that girl either. And then Lady Gaga is, I think, Little Monsters, she calls them or something,
Okay.
which I do like. I think that's cool.
All right, not to interrupt, but like, what do we call our podcast followers?
Ooh, I don't know.
We need a name. We need something to identify ourselves. If they're out in public, they could be like, "Oh, hey, I'm a, meathead or meat
Heim Time
Hyman. I'm a Heimer."
Hyman. Don't say that. Damn it, that's the one. That's probably what it's gonna be. So anyway, this week, or it's been going on. She has.
You're the reporter. I just vaguely know what's happening, I think.
So musicians in general have, like, they have to be with a, what's it called? A
Recording label, yeah.
So Taylor Swift obviously is with a recording label. This is years ago. 10 years ago, she releases the album Red under Scooter Braun. I don't know why I
Why do you keep saying that?
Because I want to say like the guy from Billy Madison. Or not Billy Madison. What's it called?
Happy Gilmore.
Happy Gilmore. Shooter.
McGavin. This is just so off the rails right now.
All right, let's zone back in. 10 years ago, she releases it under Scooter Braun and doesn't have ownership to her masters. So she releases 6 actually albums, doesn't have any ownership of them. So what she decided in 2020, November of 2020, she could start reproducing her songs because she's with a new label. I forget which one, but she's with a new one, and they said, sure, go ahead and start releasing them. So she has ownership to all of these new songs if she redoes them. So she's doing the Taylor version, which is in parentheses on all of these new songs of like, these are her, she owns them now.
Right.
So this week she's releasing Red, which I guess was her second album as a pop star, and a 10-minute video that she did of All Too Well, which is one of her, which we watched last night so that we could like say we watched it.
That you made me watch, yeah.
Is pretty bad. But anyway, all these Swifties are losing it, and they're just like, this is nuts, this is awesome. She's creating this movement in the music industry where she's like now owning it, taking all of this, her songs are her songs. This is so sick, women empowerment, blah,
This
blah, blah.
will create other opportunities for people to do the same.
Yeah, for artists in the community or whatever. And it's just like, or she's just making money off of you guys again. Doesn't even have to write anything new, just like does it again. Anyway, what are your thoughts on that? Just like releasing it, going on a tour, like
I should be clear that I'm pretty anti Taylor Swift, and I think I have been for a long time. She just annoys me. But Taylor
I think she
Swift,
does that to a lot of people.
Yeah, Taylor Swift is like licorice, right? Like you either like it or you just fucking hate it, and it's like disgusting. And
It's
to
disgusting.
me, I'm that's not like in my wheelhouse, which I guess is funny because like she's around our age.
She really
but,
is. I think she's like literally our age, your age.
But like even like we were talking about that. So when she first released this album was 10 years ago,
Yeah,
when she
10.
was 21, and like the things that she was like complaining about, it was like this is like middle school shit, right? Like when I was 21, I had real life problems and things I was working through. So I don't know. I guess I've never been a fan. So I feel like I should preface that. And the thing with this, which I know you probably agree with most of it, like, so then I looked this up because this is another thing that gets thrown around. Taylor Swift's dad bought a 3% stake in her first record label for an estimated 120 grand. So a lot of people say the reason she even got signed was because of that, because he bought into the big
Because she like
machine.
couldn't make it, and then he was just like, I'll just buy into this.
I don't know if she couldn't make it. She was like 12 years old. So it's just like
Yeah.
what rich people do is they just like
Establish a way.
help their children, whatever that is, lawnmower parents, where they like,
I never heard
create a
that.
path. Yeah,
Oh,
I think that's what that's called. Helicopter parenting is just like following
Over.
and helping along the way.
Or obsessing, I think, is helicopter.
Yeah. So anyway, as someone who, created our own business and everything, I hate the people that are like, oh, my dad bought me a restaurant or this or that. And the same with her. I just, so that annoys me. So to be clear, but the thing that I think is funny about this, and I don't know if I can say this because I'm a white man, but this whole thing is veiled in the idea of women empowerment, that I don't, the man owns my stuff and they sold it, and I don't, like no one in the record industry, in the music industry owns their masters. Like that's
Yeah.
kind of, unless you like self-record and produce or whatever, I think, but that's really expensive and like hard to do. And you're either like, I know like Quaker City does, because the
Yeah.
song that we play at the start, like Sam was like, yeah, we own it, so you
I
can
think
play
Grady
it.
does too, right?
Yeah, so it's like stuff like that where like, you can do it, but then if you get signed to a big label, then it's like, okay, they're going to help with the
Yeah, it's like an
distribution.
investor
They're
or
going to,
something. Yeah.
they're going to help with getting your name out there, blah, blah, blah. They're going to pay you a lot of money, but then they don't own it. So I get it. And I know like we were talking with Paul, Kanye, was pushing about getting his masters back, and a bunch of other people have done the same. But the idea that like this is like an empowerment thing, and this is going to pave the way for other people in the industry, it's not. It's just absolute bullshit, because
She's just
what it
Cash and
is
checks is what
someone
she's doing.
who is worth $500 million is like, you know what? I'd love to be a billionaire. So let me just redo all this stuff. I can spin it to my fans as like, oh, they've really supported me and they
And
love
I'm
me.
giving
and
it to the man.
this is all for them. And it's like, yeah, or you're just making more money. And like, that's the thing where it's like,
Well, like last night, I was like, is she donating this? Like, what? And then you were like, no, dude, she's just
Yeah.
keeping it. And I was like, what? She's so,
Yeah.
and then I got on Forbes and like
Right.
looked to see how much she's actually worth.
maybe-
And she's worth $550 million.
Jeez.
That's estimated by Forbes. And so it's like,
Which
so now
is
you're
good
just
for her.
shooting for the even billion.
Good for her.
Anyway, also, so like, I guess this All Too Well 10-minute video that came out that she wrote and directed and all this stuff is actually her at 21, 22, dating Jake Gyllenhaal.
This is a big part of
This
the
is
whole
a big
thing,
deal
right? Because
right
then people
now.
are like, Jake Gyllenhaal is a
What
piece
an
of
asshole.
garbage.
But like 10 years ago,
Yeah.
like, and then now he's just thrown into the news again. And then like, you know, watching this 10-minute thing, you're like, oh, is he going to beat her? Like, is there going to be some real life stuff going on? It's like, no, they just like have a relationship and then like they break up.
He's just like kind of mean, I guess, in the video. Or...
But like at the end of a relationship, which like I haven't been broken up with in quite a while, but like, it's like that's kind of how some relationships end. It's like, yeah, it's over. And then you like realize like we're fighting a lot. Like we're 21 or whatever. Like who cares? Let's break up. Like he wasn't 21, but. And then it's just like, like this is the worst thing. And then she like writes this whole song about it. And so this is another thing. Like, I don't know who she's dating right now. I tried to look it up, but it's like, who wants to date that? You're just going to be written about and then maybe brought up again 10 years later. Like, it just seems like it's crazy.
There was like a tweet about like guy dating Taylor Swift, like, haha, that's really funny. Hey, what are you doing writing in that book? Or what are you writing in that book?
Why you got a moleskin
It's
over
like-
there writing?
Freaking just writing down everything that went wrong.
So I have a theory about this.
Hold on, can I
Conspiracy.
just say this real quick?
All right.
So apparently one of the songs is about a scarf, some sort of
Yeah, the
dumb
opening line
scarf.
or whatever evolved to all too well is about a scarf that I wore that you still have in your drawer.
So yeah, incredible artistry. This is a title of an article. Jake Gyllenhaal should return Taylor Swift's scarf. Dionne Warwick says, I will pay the cost of postage. And then the subtitle, it's unclear who has possession of the scarf, which fans have long associated with Gyllenhaal and Swift's relationship. This is on Fox News for some reason.
Fox News, dude. Breaking. There's a scarf.
If that young man has Taylor's scarf, he should return it. Warwick, who is 80, tweeted on Monday. Why do people care
I
about
don't know.
this?
I guess that's like my concern is like, why?
She followed it up with, it does not belong to you. Box it up and I will pay the cost of postage, Jake.
That's what she wrote?
It's a scarf.
He doesn't have it. He doesn't have it anymore. He's however rich, he doesn't have that scarf. Do you think it's seriously still in his drawer? He hasn't moved on in 10 years?
For years, fans have believed the song itself to be about Gyllenhaal, who's 40, and the 2012 song Swift sings, I left my scarf there at your sister's house, and you've still got it in your drawer even now. Swifties have theorized the sister reference is about Gyllenhaal's sister, Maggie Gyllenhaal. Her name has been brought up so much, she addressed it in 2017. I never understood why everybody asked me about this scarf. What is this? She said during a Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen. I am in the dark about the scarf. It's totally possible I have it. I don't know. I have been asked this before.
So the sister has the scarf or Jake?
According to her, maybe.
The fact that this is even a thing is like crazy. So do you want to hear my theory or what?
Sure.
All right. So we know about method acting.
Right.
Like, I believe like Phoenix, Joaquin Phoenix, huge on that.
De Niro.
I think Heath Ledger, huge on that. You know, these like really great.
Daniel Day-Lewis is famous.
Daniel
like,
Day-Lewis.
as Lincoln, he like made people carry him around and stuff.
Exactly.
It was, like, super annoying.
So it's like, this is like a huge part of acting, how you get into the zone. You're going to like really feel it, become the person that you're trying to be. I'm trying to be Abe Lincoln. I'm trying to be the Joker or whatever. Sure. I think Taylor Swift does that with her relationships. Like she knows that she's going to be her best if she is
as an artist.
As an artist. Like, I'm going to write the best stuff. I'm going to make the most money. I'm going to be the best version I am to write this stuff if I become like, and if I go into this relationship. So it's like, are you actually in these relationships to make a bond, to create memories, to possibly like have children, to fall in love? Or are you in these relationships because you know at the end of the day, I'm going to create some fire stuff that these 12-year-old girls are going to listen to and buy, and I'm going to make money? Mm-hmm. What do you think? I thought about that last night. She's putting herself in these situations so that she can write this stuff.
It's entirely possible. I think, there's like a lot of things like there's like in sports and stuff like football, like guys like get angry or whatever, like think of like
it's like Waterboy.
Like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like pump them up so that they like play better, and then like comedians I've heard a lot of times will like go to Six Flags or whatever. That's a stupid example, but we'll do something like Bill Burr's like a helicopter pilot, and I guess one of the reasons he learned that was just so he had like other jokes to talk about and like could bring it up.
Experiences.
I think that's possible. Or she's just like a terrible girlfriend could also be the other side of it. Because there's like, people like this where it's like, it's never your fault.
Like that. Like she was like, maybe I should just method act my way into being a terrible girlfriend.
Well,
I don't
think
know.
Too,
like,
it's obvious that like what her fans love is this type of stuff.
Exactly. Right? And I have friends, I won't mention their names.
Right.
Long time friends, not super close now, but like obsessed.
Be careful, because I piss people off on this podcast.
No, just like obsessed. And I think it's like,
I know a lot of people that are like really into her,
and it's interesting to me,
This says John Mayer responded to death threats from a Taylor Swift fan, and then this I mean this doesn't surprise me, but John Mayer. If you weren't aware, John and Taylor were romantically linked for a few months back in December 2009. At the time, Taylor was 19 while John was 32. Is that weird?
Yeah.
So why is she dating all these like weird guys and then like, oh,
dude,
they're
my
weird.
point exactly.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, not a big fan.
No, I mean, overall, we're just reporting the news and then a little bit of opinion, but
then it's like,
I'm just saying.
I haven't heard this, but it says fans had reason to believe Taylor's track was about her ex, not just because of the title, but because of the lyrics. She sings, and the chorus is, "Dear John, I see it all now that you're gone." Yeah.
John Mayer.
Of course you would think that. So it's like...
Yeah, like, duh.
So I'm on your side now.
Dude, I am.
She's doing this shit on purpose.
She does it on purpose to make money.
And then people
She's
are
a
like,
business person at the end of the day.
She's talking about John Mayer. She's talking about... Jake or whatever.
And then also, like...
Interesting.
It's not just like some hobo on the street she's talking about. These are people that like people probably dream of being with, So then they're like putting themselves in Taylor's shoes. And then like, I mean, I want to say, and I want to say it's true. Like people hated John Mayer after this. People hated Jake Gyllenhaal, and now it's happening again.
Right.
Like that's messed up. But she's like, it's not just some John Doe. It's like someone that everyone also listens to on Spotify or whatever, or watches movies.
I got a follow up. So it says a couple years after this song's release, John addressed on an interview with Rolling Stone. "It made me feel terrible," he said. "It was a really lousy thing to do. I never got an email. I never got a phone call. I was really caught off guard. I will say as a songwriter that I think it's kind of cheap songwriting."
Mm-hmm.
John Mayer's words, not mine. "I know she's the biggest thing in the world, and I'm not trying to sink anybody's ship, but I think it's abusing your talent to rub your hands together and go, wait till he gets a load of this."
Dude, that's what I'm saying. Wow, John Mayer.
Interesting.
He's shady too.
John Mayer, as much as I like him, is a weirdo and has
for sure. I read the Jessica Simpson book.
Oh, that's on this right? Yeah.
Yeah, because he did shady shit to her too.
Derogatory comments about her.
Yeah.
Okay. We've
anyway.
This is enough.
That's
Taylor
reported.
Swift, right? But
reported.
So if you're not up to date, I mean that's pretty much it. Right?
Don't look it up. Just don't give her more numbers. But
well, 500 million. Now
550 million.
Oh shit! Sorry, I left that off.
That's a
extra
lot.
50. And then now, if this all works out, I'm sure she's gonna skyrocket.
She's gonna be like fighting with Kylie for #1 spot.
Crazy. We had a great day yesterday.
Yeah.
Not to completely change topics, but had a little meeting, and then we did family time at the zoo, the Fort Worth Zoo. How awesome was that?
It was fun. I
loved it.
I was all like, okay, I got this email about there's a new elephant in town.
Yeah.
And Fort Worth Zoo is rated #1.
Yeah, in the world, I think.
World.
Best zoo ever. Yeah.
And so anyway, I get these emails. We're not a member, but I think I'm gonna do that for Christmas, as you know, Izzy's totally not gonna care, but get her a membership.
She likes it.
And there's a new elephant. His name's Baby Brazos.
Brazos.
Like the Brazos River.
Right.
And we're like, we got to go see this little guy. So we went, and we also got to see the mom, the grandma, and the dad. The dad's name's Romeo.
Yeah, and then what the other big male elephant is Samson.
Samson was
which is a great name.
So the mom, I forget the mom's name. She has an 8-year-old with Samson.
Yeah, I forgot too.
And then a newborn with Romeo.
Scandalous.
Because I asked, I was like, so is the second baby with the same dad? And the zookeeper was like, nope. And I was like, what?
Scandalous.
So the mom's 22, Romeo's 29. And then the mom of the mom, so grandma is there. She's 49 years old.
49. I didn't know. I guess I don't know a whole lot about elephants.
It takes 22 months for gestational period. We think 9 months is bad, which it is bad. But could you imagine 22 months being pregnant?
No one would have babies, right? I mean, 9 months is already kind of a difficult deal. And then I think, too, if guys had to have
You guys couldn't.
babies, it would not. Yeah, there's no way. It would be terrible.
You guys are babies in general, so
22
no offense, guys.
months. But if you think about it, they're born at like hundreds of pounds. Or I mean,
Yeah,
they're
I think
massive.
it said it was already like 250. I think it was like 250 pounds at birth or something.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Anyway, yeah, so we took Izzy to the zoo.
Elephant Springs, yeah.
And we did lunch and stuff. It was fun. It was
Saw
a
a
beautiful
rhino.
day. This is like the best time for weather in Fort Worth. Like it's just like a little chilly in the morning and then just like 75 and sunny.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Get
So-
1 week a year.
Yeah, she saw the rhino and was like, what? Looking at the rhino.
She's really interested in the rhino, yeah. I guess there wasn't really much else. We saw a couple hippos. The giraffes are awesome.
Yeah, she liked the giraffe.
Giraffes are freaking cool, man. And
What do you feel about zoos, you know?
not a huge fan, but that's
'Cause of,
also
like, the captivity and sadness?
that's just from my. So, I don't know if I've talked about this, but I spent some time in Africa after I graduated high school, and so we at one point were able to go on a safari, and
So
we
cool.
stayed in a Maasai village, met the people there, and then did a safari. And so we saw, that was awesome. And it was like, we were in Kenya, but then we drove, it was like on the border of Kenya and somewhere else, I forget where. But anyway, it was awesome. But we saw like a cheetah, saw a leopard, I think. Didn't see a rhino, but we saw hippos. And then when we were leaving, we saw elephants. And they were like 3 times as big as
The ones
the
at
ones
the
at
zoo.
the zoo. Yeah, like the male elephants, when they're like 40 or whatever, they're just insane. And the guy said, like, you have to stay away from them because if they have babies, they'll charge at you and they'll
yeah.
like flip the car. Like they can
Whoa.
just flip the Range Rover or
I
whatever.
get it. That's how I feel when people look at Izzy.
Dude, I know, right?
Like, back up.
Too close, dude. Too close. We know she's cute. All right.
Like, I'm about to throw
Yeah,
bows.
we get it. Yeah.
Yeah, I almost did that this weekend.
I know. So anyway, zoos I think are awesome because of like the you get to see the animals and stuff, and that's cool. It's like a learning thing, but I don't know, that could be my
I
weird.
guess experiencing like a safari that's like not very many people get to do, that would be like
yeah,
very
but it's
different.
like
Seeing them in captivity.
well, it's like hunting though. Like, you know, like the people that like shoot elephants and stuff and like
Yeah.
that type of hunting. I mean, it's like, yeah, it's not great, but a lot of it is done because of conservation, because of like, you know, they need to whatever. There's a bunch of blah, blah, blah. Not to get into this soapbox, but I think the zoo's awesome and it's cool really seeing all that stuff. But yeah, it is cool like seeing them in their natural habitat. But a lot of that stuff is like on the verge of extinction.
I want to do a safari. Take Izzy.
It'd be awesome. That was an insane experience in my life that I think, you know, changed my worldview and perspective quite a bit. But yeah, it was awesome. But love the zoo. And the irony is like the zoo is like exists because of like oil money because it's just all the like rich Fort Worth oil barons that donated. So it's like, you know, I don't know. It's just funny to me. And then so that guy had a party. There's some guy, rich guy had a party at the zoo, his birthday party where he had.
It's like Saturday night, this past Saturday.
Ryan Bingham, was it?
Apparently opened.
Awesome.
Chain Smokers.
Eddie Vedder
and
from
Eddie
Pearl
Vedder.
Jam, which is like crazy.
At the zoo.
At the zoo. You have a party at the zoo. So that's
zoo
awesome.
throws some good parties.
Dude, what's the
Bistro?
Bistro is the
Bistro's
absolute best.
21 and up.
Yeah.
It's like starts at like I think VIP's like 4 p.m. It's like 50, 60 restaurants from DFW. There's bars every like 20 steps, which you never get to drink at the zoo on a regular day.
You're not supposed to, yeah.
Yeah, you're not supposed to. And anyway, but it's just like so fun. And then at the end, there's like a live band and it's like a super fun dance party. And anyway, that's where that party was. That birthday party was where the bands are at.
Zoo Ball's the big fundraiser.
Zoo Ball.
They had Jimmy Buffett play this year.
Yeah,
which pretty crazy.
Yeah, we need to do that next year. I think it's
Yeah.
like $10,000 for a table though.
Awesome.
But hey, goes to Baby Brazos.
I love Baby Brazos. One thing too, like on our way leaving, we had some delicious chicken strips. They were pretty good. And then stopped at the Dippin' Dots shack.
Yeah.
And
Order Envy.
I associate Dippin' Dots with the zoo. That was like the first time that I saw Dippin' Dots and was like, whoa.
Why aren't those just readily available all over?
Well, that's what I was going to ask. I thought, like, if you told me as a kid, could I invest money in any one thing, I would be like, Dippin' Dots are going to be on every corner by 2020. We'll have flying cars. People will eat Dippin' Dots on the
And
reg.
Space Jam will just be how basketball is.
Right. And it's not. And I wonder why, because
It's got to be something with like production, and then also I think it might be expensive to manufacture that type of ice cream. Like it's like a craft barbecue place that's going to be more expensive than just like a regular like barbecue place, and that's like, to me, it's like a craft ice cream.
well, I know the process or whatever is they use that like liquid nitrogen, you know, that's the whole thing. But and I looked this up later.
Man.
I know a lot of research done on this podcast, but you're supposed to store them at like a colder than normal grocery store freezer.
There you go. No one's going to. Do you want to change your stuff out to just have Dippin' Dots?
And I remember at
freezers?
one point they had like a smaller freezer next to the big aisle of freezers,
think they did.
and they had Dippin' Dots in there, and that was the reason why.
That would melt though on your way home. It melts really quick.
I don't know. We had some delicious Dippin'
I'm gonna
Dots.
look into it.
Mine wasn't that good. I went with the rainbow sherbet, and then you got banana split.
Always get banana
was good.
split.
But people freaking love Dippin' Dots because, like, that lady we were walking by, she's like, "Where did you get those Dippin' Dots?"
I was like, right there, ma'am. Right there, ma'am.
Sorry.
Yeah, it was a fun day. I'm glad you got to go. That was your first time with Izzy.
I know.
I've gone 3 or 4 times with her.
We just got another question from Shug, so we'll have to do that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I had a great time. I love the zoo. I love all the Texas stuff, and I don't know. It's just cool. It was a good time. The giraffes were awesome.
We'll have to go more often. I'll get that membership. And you get like 10% off food and all that kind of stuff. You can get like souvenirs and whatnot, 10% off. I'm going to talk to them about sponsoring us now.
Let's do it. We should do a snack recap. I mean, one, got a lot of feedback on the snack talk, and I feel pretty confident about everything I said. One thing I did want to address, you and I did, in fact, try a 100 grand last night. Wesley recommended this as a candy. What are your thoughts?
Trash.
I didn't like it. It's like
Dude,
a mix.
I had to chew on that for at least 5 minutes to get it out of my mouth.
And it was stuck in my teeth. I'm not a big caramel guy. There's too much caramel. Twix has the right amount of caramel.
Also, it said milk chocolate, and that was it was a medium chocolate.
You're not a fan of dark chocolate.
No, and it
so
said milk,
even,
and I was like, this is like a little bitter to me. So, no.
It was like a mix of a Crunch bar with like a Rolo.
Ooh,
right?
Rolos.
Rolos are pretty good.
And then chocolate.
Jesse would always get
Which
Rolos.
doesn't sound like, if you're just like talking about it, it sounds delicious. And then you try it and you're like, wait a minute.
Yeah, I don't know.
In my opinion,
wasn't a fan.
The least on the totem pole.
I think I still had Payday's number one. We still have all that other crap like the licorice and the Sour Patch and the blah blah blah. We should have put that out.
Is red Twizzler considered licorice, or is licorice?
I don't know.
You always say licorice, and licorice to me is like black licorice, but or maybe that's just a type of licorice.
I'm under the impression that Twizzlers is red licorice, but then there's also black licorice.
Okay. This episode is brought to you by Tres Agaves Tequila, 100% USDA certified organic tequila.
Delicious tequila, some of our favorite. They got the Añejo, they got the Blanco, they got the Reposado. Tequila made in tequila. Slow roasted for approximately 20 hours, almost like delicious brisket, you may say. Tres Agaves, awesome stuff. Thanks for sponsoring Heim Time Podcast. You might want to check out their organic margarita mix. They also have a strawberry margarita mix. No high fructose corn syrup if you're trying to watch the weight like myself. Maybe just a little ranch water, just some tequila over ice. Delicious stuff. Like Emma said, 100% certified organic. Awesome tequila. Thank you, Tres Agaves. Drink some responsibly.
And black licorice is like the worst thing on earth.
Yeah, for sure.
Twizzlers is not terrible. I'll eat a Twizzler.
Twizzlers are good.
I mean, I'm not going to pay for a Twizzler, but if someone's like, hey, I got this for free if you want it, then I may do it. But the other thing, we put out the candy, right, for the kids once Izzy went down because we weren't answering the door anymore. What was left? Milky Way, 100 grands.
Yeah.
So even the children are like, trash.
Okay.
I just felt like we should address that.
I'm just like, yeah, everyone needs to know it's trash.
And I personally love a Almond Joy, but you're anti-coconut. You have a strong anti-coconut.
It's a bugaboo, man.
Interesting.
Eggs and coconut. Kick rocks.
Together?
No, like at separate times.
Gross. Another thing that I think is been on my mind lately, because we'll go for a walk with Izzy around the neighborhood and stuff, and we went by a house, and you were like, there's a guy like power washing the house and stuff, and you were like, did you see that house? That was a hoarder house.
Yeah, it was.
So you have a degree in psychology. Mm-hmm. You're very smart. You love a lot of shows that I hate, one being Intervention, because I feel like
I really enjoy stuff like that.
Like they're recorded. Like I'll change the channel.
Recorded.
I'm like, why is this recorded?
Recording. I've been guilty to like put it on Netflix.
So
it's mesmerizing.
It's ridiculous. So to me, I just get mad, but I think that's where like you have more sympathy or empathy than I do.
Hoarding is a mental disorder.
Like an illness.
Like
or
if you're like keeping trash and like you're seeing rats and stuff running around, then like there's something not connecting.
Right.
there.
It's not just like,
That's not
hey,
a
don't do
normal-
that. Yeah.
Or like, oh, I just didn't take out the trash this week. Like there's
this
something
year.
there.
Yeah.
This year.
But yeah, you were like a hoarder thing. And then we had a conversation of like, man, there's a lot of hoarders lately. But if you think about it,
Sorry.
and I thought about this later, like, but there's not like, I remember going over to people's house and like my mom or somebody would be like, yeah, she's really a pack rat.
Like it wasn't like a known.
Yeah, like
mental
hoarding
disorder.
was, yeah, well, of course, but like hoarding wasn't there wasn't a word hoarding. It was just like,
Like when we were young, yeah. Like I
Just
don't
like,
think our
this lady's
moms are gonna
house
be like, well,
sucks, yeah.
she's got some mental issues.
well, yeah, that's another thing you learn later in life. But
I mean, we learned about hoarding in school and college, and I was like, this is mesmerizing to me.
yeah, I saw one where it was just Miller Lite. It was just all the guy would just drink, which I guess was alcoholism too,
That's
which isn't
two
good.
of my favorite things mixed in one: addiction and
But it was like you couldn't
Hoarding
even walk
OCD.
because of the cans of Miller Lite that were stacked like 4 feet high.
yeah.
So anyway, we'll see this. You see like a car every now and then that's like
Oh
completely
man, those
full
are
of
my
trash.
favorite. I'm always like, dude, hoarder car.
I don't understand it, but
Well, I mean, I think they don't like either they don't have a home or that it's crossed over into the car from their home.
yeah, it just fascinates me. That stuff
There's
interests
normally
me.
a reason. It's
Right.
not like they're just doing it to do it. It's like, traumatic things happen.
Right.
Same as like addiction or something. There's always got to be like, terrible thing that happened. It's not like, oh, I'm really happy, so I'm going to like keep this cat litter here.
And then that's I guess how you address it is you have to
You have
work
to-
through the trauma
Yep.
to then
Exposure to the difficult thing that
Right.
happened and like working through it. And then that enables you to release some of these objects.
right.
It's very fascinating to me
That
because
part is
also it's like
interesting,
like say it's a death or something that was the traumatic thing. They'll like hold on to whatever, like I'm never gonna like let these clothes leave the closet because it was
Right.
like my husband's or my wife's or my kids or
Yeah.
whatever. It's very interesting.
Which I get that, but then like when you just got like trash and shit everywhere.
No, the trash is like
It's
what?
crazy. But anyway,
But yeah, no, I
thought that was
guess they're
weird.
gonna try and rent that out, and then I'm just gonna be like, hey, you guys live in a hoarder house.
Hey, there's a hoarder in there before. Like,
Which
just-
we will know, but
just
they
so
will
you
not.
know, yeah, I don't know.
It's a thing, man.
yeah.
What about so on was it Netflix or Prime, I think, or HBO?
I can look it up.
The Way Down.
Way Down spelled WEIGH.
Dude, you guys,
Way
First of all-
Down Workshop.
you gotta watch it. I think it's HBO Max,
HBO
right?
Max, yeah.
First of all, the cover or whatever, I was like, this is like just an exaggerated hairstyle.
Like this isn't
It's a
real
cartoon,
person.
just like of this woman,
On
and
the-
you're like,
yeah.
this is like it's just like overboard, right? Well, then when you watch it and you actually see the human, you're like, no, this is actually how she looks.
And I don't want to shame anybody, but like I think this is my whole thing before we get into
Mm-hmm.
it, right? If you give me advice,
Right.
you're a beautiful
Wow.
young
thank
woman,
you.
right? But I've known you
Young.
for a long time, my whole life. And I'm not saying looks have anything to do with it, but I'm just saying you don't look like you have a mental disorder, right? Like you're just so you're like, I know this,
I'm passing.
I know this topic. This is something that I'm an expert on. And then you share that advice with me. I'm going to take that advice in and I'm going to say, you know what? Emma really knows what she's talking about. This is great. This person and how she looks tells me advice and I go, but I can't take anything you're saying
You look
seriously.
nutsos.
Because you look like an insane person. You look like literally one of the
Okay,
most
what
insane people I've ever seen in my life.
What
If someone did Like, this is like a bad Saturday Night Live skit of like someone who's
It's,
like, looks insane.
So if you haven't like seen this woman,
Sorry to go off on a tangent.
it is a Karen haircut stacked, but like long.
Super Karen.
Yeah, it's like
Karen-
the boss Karen of Karens.
Yes.
Yeah, and but it's long. It's not
Yeah.
like the short, like tapered in the front, longer in the front. It is like I'm talking about like like longer than my hair now, and then like teased to like 100% tease, like the most teasing capability that you could have.
And we'll post a photo on Patreon so everyone can see what we're talking about.
What is this?
So this young lady, this old woman's name, well, I mean, I guess there is going to be spoilers. We will say spoilers.
That is something
just
so if you're gonna watch this,
but
I
honestly,
guess, like, skip ahead.
Well, the spoilers aren't going to like, it's not going to be. It's worth. Like,
I mean, look at
we'll
the
say
lady.
It, yeah, we'll say it, and then you'll watch it anyway. It's going to be fun. So anyway, this young lady's name is Gwen Shamblin.
Shamblin.
And she started a diet program called the Way Down Diet, inspirational way to lose weight, stay slim, and find a new you. And so when she started this was years ago. I don't know if I can get a date on this.
This is like the end of the 80s.
70s or no, not 70s, probably 80s, right?
Yeah. Based on their like clothes, I think the 80s.
Yeah. So it's a Christian diet program. And so basically the idea was that diets were a huge deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the Atkins, the whatever, the, South Beach or whatever. So her idea was, and I will say too, it's worth noting that at this time she did look like a normal human person.
Yeah,
not
she had like normal haircut.
an alien in the skin of another, trying to act like a human, which is how she looked the last couple of years. But she looked normal. So the idea was, and this is what intrigued us, growing up in very religious families, going to Christian school, we've kind of experienced some of this sort of stuff, but the diet is based on like biblical stuff.
Yeah, like God wouldn't want you to eat that Snickers or that 100 grand Wesley. And so then like
your body is your temple.
You need to like not abuse God's love
Or be
for
fat.
you, and like God wants you to be perfect, so then like be perfect for God using your body.
Right. And your body's your temple, so like don't overeat, exercise, I guess,
Yeah.
like whatever, blah blah
Take
blah.
care of yourself, but to an unhealthy measure.
Well, then the diet was like basically don't eat until you're starving. Mm-hmm. Right? Like then that
I think
was
that
the
was
whole
a part of it. Yeah,
point was like eat like once a day, but you don't, and then even when you do eat like very little amounts. So you're basically on this like edge of starvation the whole time,
Right.
which is obviously a terrible thing to do to your body or whatever. And then it's all in the like thing of, well, the Bible and Christianity and all this, which, I don't think the Bible has much to say about weight loss, but what do I know? So it's very odd. So anyway, she developed this following, and it was like literally a cult following,
100%.
you could say, of people that were into this. They lost like 50 pounds,
Yeah,
100
they'd have
pounds.
like weekend
Yeah.
things where everyone gets together.
Like the Tony
conventions.
Robbins. Yeah.
Yeah. And then she's like, gets people up on stage and she's like, Roberta, how much did you lose? And she's like, I'm down 160 pounds or whatever. And they're like, praise God, like going nuts about it. But yeah, it's not because it was like nutrition helping.
You're just starving
It was
yourself.
just starving.
And can I also say her accent is like, sounds like someone making fun of
An
a
accent.
terrible accent.
Yeah.
So that also annoys me.
Paired
like,
with the hair.
all right, y'all, we're just here to praise
Paula
God and Paula Dean, but like, yeah, it was hard to listen to. So anyway, this was fascinating. So we heard about the people that were in the
It was
church.
like people that had like gotten out.
Yeah.
It was their accounts of what happened and like how they handle things, from food to marriage to like different relationships to children rearing, which was like, what? That one pissed me off. There's a
Wow,
whole
that's really
episode
bad.
about how you like discipline your children.
Not a great
and,
episode.
and like things that like God definitely wouldn't be into.
Right.
And so anyway, it was pretty crazy. And then like her hair
is-
continually
yeah.
just got bigger and bigger. And it was really funny because my hairdresser, Edward, had told me about this. And I was like, oh, I saw the cover of that on HBO. And I was like, I thought it was a joke. He was like, no, she really looks like that. And it was
That's
just
funny.
funny that's like the hair person telling me.
Yeah, you didn't tell me that.
Yeah,
so
Edward,
that's
that's
probably
why I
like
watched it,
What
'cause
he
he
was
was
most
like-
upset about was her hair, not the other.
I was like,
stuff.
oh my gosh.
That is a symptom of like being either super rich or super powerful, because I know a lot of these people.
What, the
and,
hair?
what I'm saying is there's guys like that, there's ladies like that, but when you get to a point where no one will tell you look like a fucking ghoul.
No one's
Like,
going to say no to you,
Right.
basically.
you look great. Your hair looks great. Like, oh yeah, that purple Lamborghini is awesome as a 65-year-old man. Like, you know what I mean?
I
So
mean,
it's like,
I would take that.
well, you know what I mean?
No, I get
It's
what you're
like,
saying.
so it's the power side of the thing is very interesting. And I think, it's
I mean,
like,
she became a cult leader.
yeah, well, then that's
And like you couldn't get out.
the
and all
idea,
this.
and then it switched from a weight thing to then she created her own church.
She created a church, and
Which
she was
is
the
what
leader.
pissed everyone off, because then she's the pastor of the church and she's saying like wild ass stuff.
She gets married.
Well, but
They
that's
talked about
another
there's like a
thing.
secret divorce, that she wouldn't let anyone get divorces in the church because then that was God.
They don't honor God or whatever.
That was like God being disappointed in them, and then they were gonna like gain weight or something.
but
But
she
then
was
she gets in
married to a fat guy, and in her thing, it's like if you're fat, then you're not like doing what you're supposed to, right?
Yeah,
And so then that was a whole rift or whatever. So then she gets a
she like
divorce,
just cuts that guy out.
and then it's like, never mind. God's
Never mind,
okay
I'm
with
gonna
divorce.
remarry.
Like divorce is fine. And then she
Remarries
marries
Tarzan
Yeah,
from the
literally,
original Tarzan series, like the episodes.
like a TV thing. And then that guy seems like a weirdo. That's a really interesting thing. And those guys intrigue me, where it's like they just have nothing going on in life, but
That
then they
guy's a
just
user.
marry. Yeah, so it's pretty
Because
fascinating.
they interview his ex, and it's really
Not good.
interesting.
That's a whole terrible thing. Yeah.
But that's really interesting that she was like, he like literally never even paid rent anywhere. He's like 28, never even, had a lease under his
Right.
name or anything, cars, whatever.
Just hooking up with old ladies.
Old ladies with
taking their
moolah.
money.
Anyway, it's worth a watch. I mean, it'll make you kind of mad though. Like the kid episode, I was like, hell
That's
no,
terrible,
dude.
Yeah. Well, then you just think about like your kid and like,
But
it's
then
just,
also, it's just like, it's pretty amazing that people do get caught up in that. Because, like, as
Yes.
an outsider, you're like, why would you listen to this? And,
yeah,
like, why
take
would you?
one look at that lady.
I mean,
You're like, you should
and
be
in
under
cults,
a bridge.
like in general, I mean, in that one, you're like, oh, I hope I get skinny so I can see like why people like, this woman, it's like, Dr. Atkins, it's like they know what they're talking about. So I'm going to listen to them and like do low carb or whatever it is. But like
Right.
this woman, it's like, I think it's really interesting cornering not only such an insecurity as weight loss, weight gain, how you look, but then also like religion for people is such a big part of their lives, and a part where a lot of people don't like understand it fully or know what they really believe, because
Right.
there's so much influence from family and outside people and all this stuff. And like the true cool part about your relationship with God is like your relationship with God. And like when you get influenced by
Right.
a
Getting kinda
psycho
preachy,
woman
but I agree
with
you.
hair,
Yeah.
it's like, what?
Well, too, I think guilt is a big part of any kind of religious thing.
Yeah, and guilt's also a big part of weight.
Bingo. So that's why I think this was such a hot deal, and why people were like, oh, because now I'm tying my guilt from not being a good Christian and then my guilt from being a fat person. And then those things are together. And then now it's like an even bigger guilt,
Right.
pressure on me, which is pretty crazy. But can I spoil it?
I don't know. I think people should watch it.
Maybe we shouldn't spoil it.
No,
Yeah,
let's not
but
spoil it.
I'd say, would you call it a happy ending? I would. But I have
I think
maybe
it's
a
sad. I mean,
dark sense of humor.
it's
so I'm
still
sorry.
going. So
The church is still there.
I
but
looked it up. It's got a gram.
Yeah.
I
I
looked at
think
her
they're
gram.
trying to get away from her craziness.
It's sad though, like what it's done to her family.
Right.
Like go through, like there's a couple episodes on like her kids, and obviously her ex-husband isn't involved. So, but it's sad.
Right.
It's super sad. Anyway, watch it when
Yeah.
you've got time and you want
It's
to.
super sad
feel
and not
weird.
that great, but it's worth watching. We should start a church.
We did.
It'd be great for the tax
called
benefits.
Heim.
Meat church.
That's already started.
I know. I was joking.
Genius.
Yeah, Matt's a genius. I got to hang out with him this week. We filmed
Yeah.
a little thing, and I love that guy. I don't get to hang out with him as much
We
as.
need to go to his Florida house.
Yeah, he's doing pretty well, I think. But we've known each other since before he even did the Pitmaster stuff, and I was talking about I want to open a restaurant one day, like 10 years ago. So it's awesome to see.
I remember like the first time you went to like lunch with him.
Yeah, Swiss pastry shop,
Mm-hmm.
I believe. Patreon questions. Have we hit all our stuff we had prepared?
Yeah, hoarders check, Colts check,
Got
Taylor
a couple
Swift check.
couple good questions here. I want to make sure I pull. Oh, there's Shugs. Okay. Okay. This is a good one from one of our favorite people in the world, Steve Timmons. Most exciting thing about being a restaurant owner with your spouse?
Just that. It's with your spouse.
What's exciting about that?
Well, it's just like, I mean, I love you.
Okay. I love you.
So the thing about it is, I sound like your mom. Whenever
a
you
Robin saying,
go
yeah.
out, your mom says the thing about it is. That's
The
what
thing
she
about
says.
it is
When you decide to go out on a ledge, you could say, take the leap of faith to begin something that you're passionate about. You got to be all bought in.
yeah.
And you have to be like just ready to do it no matter what, honestly. And so when you have like a marriage, you could say you're 50%, I'm 50%. And then when you go all in 100%, it's like you've got the backing you really need, and the trust that you have in that person like gives you the power to do it, I think. And whenever we started, you were just kind of like SOL, couldn't find a job that was decent, enough to like really bring in the money and all this stuff. And that's when I was like, you know what, why don't we just start this barbecue thing full time? Because that's what you really had a desire and a passion to do. And I think that, your spouse is someone that you really care about. You're trying to like make their life better. I'm always trying to work for you. You're trying to work for me. And when I think you get that nudge from that person, then that's really like can like set you on fire and send you over. Like you're like, I'm ready to do it now.
That's a great point. I think I agree with you. I think anything, but like specifically starting a small business or starting any kind of project is like we talk about passion, work ethic, I think is probably more important than passion because
That's true.
you just gotta just work and just work and work and work. And what that means is sacrificing. You sacrifice time with your family, sacrifice friends. There's friends we didn't see for like 3 years
we missed
when we
like
started.
some of our best friends' weddings because we were in the food truck on a Saturday.
Birthdays, holidays. If you open a restaurant, you're never going to have a normal holiday again.
Yeah.
So sacrifice is a huge part of it. And I think any successful small business, type of thing, use us as an example. What I've seen is if it is a single person, there's some sort of support system there, whether it's like your family or whether it's like whatever. And I think where you've seen where that struggle is if you don't have it, because how many times have you seen like somebody's like trying and it's not working, whether it's a food truck or a restaurant or whatever, then you get a divorce or then you get, you know, whatever. So whether it's a business partner, spouse, whatever, I think to be successful, you have to have some sort of support system where like everyone is going to get to that point of like, why am I doing this? This is so difficult. This is like the hardest thing in the world. I'm literally at like my wit's end. Should I continue doing this? Am I going to be successful? When is it going to turn? And to me, having your spouse with you in that situation, like we were, you're just as committed to I am. It was like, we literally will do anything to make this successful.
Yeah.
Like, I think luck plays a role in it. I think,
timing.
Timing is a huge thing.
Yeah.
We opened a barbecue place now. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
There's a million places in Fort Worth, whatever.
No, we had the absolute perfect timing.
We were the first craft barbecue and, you know, whatever. I mean, so timing, I think, is huge, but luck, you know, if you believe in providence, those type of things, whatever. But we were like, whatever happens, it's not going to be a lack of effort with us.
Yeah.
And we're going to work our asses off. We're going to try this. We're going to treat people right, do everything that we think, you know, all of our, you know, you sourcing the best meat stuff, all that, you know, soapbox. And that's the attitude you have to have, I guess. And so what, you know, someone told me this about parenting. Parenting makes the lows of your life so much lower and like so much more intense, like the sadness part of it, but the highs are so much greater. It's just like it exponentially makes everything, you know, more impactful. So like you see, you know, our daughter Smile. We put up, I say we, Sam, my friend, helped me put up a swing in the backyard last night. We swing, put her in the swing. She just does a big smile. It's like the greatest feeling in the world. Mm-hmm. But then like she, you know, the other day at dinner, she accidentally grabbed some jalapenos while I was holding her and put them in her mouth, and she's crying because they're hot as shit. And I'm like, I want to kill myself. Yeah. This is the worst thing in the world, that you experience just 1 second of pain, you know, or whatever, that this is like just the worst feeling. So I don't know. I'm off on a tangent, but I feel that way about like working with you and stuff, because you and I both can experience the successes and opening new restaurants, giving people jobs, people get cars and houses that work for us, you know, all of these incredible things. And then not making Texas Monthly, you know, those type of lows where you're just like,
we share it all.
This sucks, but I have you to go through everything with on the positives and the negatives, and most people don't get to experience that because they have different jobs and stuff. So I think it's very special. I definitely don't recommend it for everybody.
No, I was going to say that too.
Yeah.
But I also trust you, obviously trust you more than anyone in the world.
Thank you.
And like I always say this, like I know you're going to work as hard as I am, and you know I'm going to work as hard as you are, whatever.
Right.
But what's really cool too about our situation, and like we purposely didn't have children till now. I mean, Izzy was technically a little bit of a surprise, but like we knew we wanted to set up this company and like, you know, focus on that before we did try to have children. And what's really cool now is that like you can do things with the business, and you know, like I've got Izzy, or vice versa. Like I can do things with the business and I know you've got Izzy. Like it's a really cool sharing on that end too, that it's like she's always with her parents, which is really cool.
And I'm hoping she'll enjoy that, but like when she gets older, like going to the restaurants and, you know, like, you know, she loves the river. She loves the freaking mac and cheese, like pounds mac and cheese.
But I mean, not to get off on Izzy, but it's like it's a really special relationship that we have to be able to like have our baby with us, and like you can take a meeting and like I can have Izzy, or
Right.
I take a meeting and you have Izzy, and it's a really cool just.
Or we've had very important meetings that she's
in.
at, and it's just it's awesome. But
It's hard to explain how freaking awesome
Yeah.
it is. Like
And
it
I
is
think-
really cool.
and two, like we do for staff and everything when we hire, we do personality tests. You and I are almost the exact opposite
We are.
personalities, which
I would like to take it again now being a mom though. Like I feel like
think you've
I think it
changed?
changes you.
so
Sure
to
it
that
does,
end, like we're both very impatient and we're both multitaskers.
1,000% impatient.
But like, well, the way this works is off a percentile thing. So you are like in the top 99th percentile of least patient people in the world.
I am.
And I'm like, I think the same or pretty close.
I like to have things done quickly, but also I like to not.
We're both leaders. We're both very highly self-motivated and want to win. Very competitive, I think. Also very task-oriented. Like you love to complete a task.
Need to complete.
Follow the rules, everything. One of the big differences is in our
Emotion.
side of things, which you are very empathetic and very friendly. I am robot. This is our decision. This is what you're supposed to do.
But that's good. It balances us.
No, I'm saying I think it works great. If we were both, if I was,
Because I need
if we
more
were
of
both
that.
like you, or if we were both like me, we would
It
not
wouldn't
have
have
been
worked.
successful.
I don't,
So,
yeah, I don't agree. I mean, I agree.
and if you're not like a spouse, even like a business partner, I think that's key. Is like where you're not just exactly the same, whatever. It's key to like to being successful. But
We've
that
had a
wasn't the
lot of
question.
friends like ask how it is working together. Like, do you think we should work together, as spouses? And I'm like, and this is how
Not
it is with a
everybody.
lot of Heim stuff. It's like, how'd you guys do that? And you're like, well,
Just kind of did it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it worked for us. So it's kind of like, I can't say you should do it too.
And two, and again, like, this goes back to why I always feel like I have a chip on my shoulder. And I know I say, mean things about other places sometimes, which I don't mean to, but the alternative was, or we live in a dumpster.
Yeah.
Like for us, it was like, we are going to try this. And if it doesn't work, then it's like, we're going to live with your parents or whatever. It's like as rock bottom as it gets. So I think we had other motivations too that maybe other people don't. None of that really was the question, but I think it's great. I love working with you, and hopefully we can build more restaurants and do awesome, cool stuff. And now Izzy's a part of it, so
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Best part.
I feel like maybe we've answered this before, but maybe not. Robert Floyd, Big Cat, best queso in town. And then second question, which this is actually pretty interesting from this week. I've heard Travis talk multiple times about wanting to open a pizza joint. Is this an actual possibility or just wishful thinking?
This is from Big Cat.
Yeah. Interesting
Best
timing.
queso. Where were we the other day? And we were like, don't put sour cream in this queso. And then they did. And we were like, this is the worst.
Well, and now that Tucker, my brother, is a Patreon member, I just want to be on record saying sour cream is disgusting. And people that enjoy sour cream
I think we've talked about this too.
should be, I'm not saying should be in jail, but I'm saying
Sour cream jail?
community service. There has to be something done to these
Dishwash
people
station at Heim.
who will coat a tortilla in sour cream or something else.
The way he does it, dude.
It's gross.
He like takes
it's
a
so
tortilla
much sour cream.
and then he like takes a knife and
It's a
then
lot
like
of sour
it's
cream.
like buttering like a piece of toast, but he's like putting sour cream upon
He sent me a
his
text last
tortilla.
night of sour cream. So anyway, I agree
That's
with
what
you.
we're working with
I
here.
hate sour cream, especially in queso.
Best Best queso though?
I mean, Torchy's has great. I know it's like
Torchy's
maybe
does.
not the answer that everyone wants to hear. Torchy's is
See,
really
I
good.
liked Maria's when we went.
Yeah, not bad.
But they put a substantial amount of sour cream.
yeah.
Another one, Fred's,
Fred's?
and
yeah.
their freaking chips
Yeah.
are so good. Like I loved it. I loved the one on Bluebonnet when it was there.
We would go there a
We'd
lot.
go there a lot because we lived off Stadium for a while, and it was so good.
Yeah, we always get the Joe T's queso, but it's just kind of run of the mill.
Yeah,
I'm trying.
I mean, it's still good.
Yeah, it's all right. I'm trying to think.
Chimmy's, Chungamug.
See, yeah, Chimmy's not bad. Mm-hmm. And you just get freaking loaded up on margs and
Man, I haven't been to Chim's in
anything.
a hot minute.
let's go right now.
No,
I'm just kidding.
it's not in my blood anymore, man.
Well, or do you want to talk about what you're doing tomorrow? Because I don't know if that. Do we have time? We have, I think, time. You are going to one concert with the Nelly,
Nelly's gonna be at Billy Bob's, y'all.
which doesn't make any sense. But
Country
G-Love
Grammar.
played there, and we saw him, and that felt out of place.
I'm not at all like upset that I'm seeing Nelly. This
Right.
sounds like I am.
No.
I
You are a Nelly fan.
I mean, yeah, who isn't? It's getting hot in here. But what I'm trying to tell you is that I am an old woman. Okay. Like I go, like Izzy goes
Go
down
on.
at 7. I'm doing the dishes. And I'm like, I straight up make coffee for the next day. I get
Yeah.
it prepared. 7:15. I've got all my stuff, like, I'm folding laundry. 7:45, I'm in bed, tucked, and
We'll
I'm
watch a
watching
Succession
a show or
yeah,
something
yeah.
about cults or hoarding or something.
Right, yeah.
And asleep by 9:30, perhaps.
Yeah.
Nelly, being Nelly, because
Right.
he's a huge deal,
Yeah.
obviously,
Some superstar.
great hits,
Yeah.
is going on at 10:30.
Right.
What?
In the evening.
And I didn't know this till like 3 days ago when
Right.
our little text group of the girls, I'm all like, well, what time should we do dinner? Thinking like 5. I'm all like, you're
Yeah.
going to have to do Izzy's bath, all this stuff.
Right.
I'm thinking dinner 5 goes on at 8:30, right?
Yeah.
Reasonable. I'm thinking that. I text, what time does he go on? Response, 10:30. Are you kidding me? I can't do this. So I immediately just said a curse word and then was like enraged,
Right.
So it's not about, being like, I'm going to have a good time. I'm not going to be too crazy. We've been
Right,
like,
right.
I just don't want to do that anymore. But like,
We haven't been drinking much.
we
at all.
haven't, and
Yeah.
I just don't want to do that. But the fact that I'm going to lose sleep over this is frustrating to me.
literally lose sleep.
And
yeah.
it's not about like, oh, I'm going to be hungover. It's like, I'm just like,
Yeah.
I keep busy full time pretty much.
Yeah.
The next day is going to suck because I'm just going to be tired.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm excited to see my girlfriends go to dinner.
Yeah.
We're doing Provender Hall, I think is
Yeah.
how you say it.
Provender.
Whatever. And in the stockyards, so
Yeah.
that's going to be fun.
Chef
but
Marcus.
the fact that I'm going to a concert at 10:30 is pretty irritating to me.
I've heard Travis talk multiple times about opening a pizza joint. So the main reason that started was our business partner Will bought what was Chimera
Chimera Pizza, yeah, on Magnolia.
and brewery, and then redid it to Fort Brewery. Then they moved. Now they have their own place. So anyway, he bought a bunch of equipment from a Mellow Mushroom that had closed. I don't even think it had opened. Like it was a brand new stuff. And he had an extra oven, and so we bought it and put it at the commissary. And the ovens are like $25,000 brand new. I think we bought it for like $4,000 or $5,000. So it was like freaking awesome. So we use it for like pies for Thanksgiving, and we use it for random
Potatoes,
stuff.
I think, and stuff.
No, yeah, because you can cook 1,000 potatoes at one time. So over the past year or so, I've been working on different dough recipes, and
Yeah.
my thought was, in the middle of the pandemic, I was like, we could do an all delivery only pizza concept, ghost kitchen type thing out of the deal. The problem is it's in White Settlement, Texas. So the majority of our orders, I think, would be Fort Worth, and then it's all to go. It would take a while to get there. And then also, do I trust a DoorDash employee or Uber Eats or whatever to do this? No, I do not. So I've made a bunch of different stuff, basically built out this whole thing, concept, and then we're like, well, I don't think this is a great idea. But I literally looked at a building this week for this concept that I think would work awesome in Fort Worth, that would crush. And so we're going to chat more with the owners and see if we could pull it off. But
secrets with Trav.
This is a secret, but it's also like there's a good chance it won't happen. So I don't really care about
you don't know.
doing it, but or don't care about sharing. But it would be awesome, sick building. It would be really cool. So yes, I would love to.
It would
do
be
that.
not barbecue. No offense.
Which would be awesome. Is there a pizza snob that would come in and review us? Because that would drive me
There's
nuts.
a pizza snob on University.
Oh, that's a restaurant.
The restaurant.
Yeah.
It's pretty cute.
So no, I want to do that, and I still want to do that. Tucker Heim is just with the best questions. Which fictional character do you think you could beat the shit out of? And then I text him, is this pertaining to TV or movie or books or what? Is there anyone that comes to mind?
Taylor Swift. I'm just kidding.
That's a real person, I think.
I
And
think.
she's pretty tall, too. I don't think
giant.
she'd probably...
She's really tall.
Dude, she'd probably take you out.
Well, considering I wish you would tell me these things before,
Well, just hit it
right
with
now,
you.
I'm not even thinking about that.
I mean, you have our Patreon, too.
No.
I don't know. Fictional character. I feel like you need more. Maybe let's follow up. We'll get a follow up and do it next week because it's like a cartoon character.
Like I got Speedy Gonzalez for sure. I got.
Well, I don't know if that's allowed. I mean, that might be a, Speedy.
But he's tiny,
Yeah, true.
so I could beat him.
Right.
But he could be fast, so I don't know.
Dude, there's no way you're catching Speedy Gonzalez. And then, since you brought that up, hold on. This
Marvin
is
the
a
Martian?
whole thing. No. I wanted to. This is something that I learned about. Have we talked about this before? I feel like maybe we've talked about this before.
You're bringing up kind of a lot of stuff that we have, so there's a big chance.
Did you know that Speedy Gonzalez has a cousin?
Yeah.
Have we talked about
Yeah.
this? We have, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now I feel like you should say it anyway.
Well, if you didn't listen to our podcast in the past, and I'll put this on the Patreon, but I did not know this, but Speedy Gonzalez had a cousin called Slowpoke Rodriguez. And he was basically the opposite of Speedy Gonzalez, where he would run around and was crazy. Slowpoke would just lazily
I'm Slowpoke for
move
sure.
around. And he looked really funny. So anyway, I definitely remember talking about that on here, but a lot of people don't know that. So Slowpoke Rodriguez, look it up. I don't know, another terrible question, but
Thanks if you guys are still listening at this point.
Steve Timmons, will there ever be a time you do whole hog at Heim? The best, literally, I think I can say the best barbecue I've ever had in my life was I cooked 2 red wattle hogs for an event in Dallas with Sam Jones of Skylight Inn fame, Sam Jones Barbecue. They do Eastern North Carolina style whole hog where they cook the whole hog and then they blister the skin at the end and chop it up and mix it in. So it's little flecks of crunchy and everything. The best I've ever had in my life. Mm-hmm. I love that. I have a real issue when it comes to the restaurant stuff, which I'm the only person in our industry, I guess, who feels this way. But I have a real issue with doing things that other people have done. So if someone else is doing whole hog, I don't want to do it. Someone else is doing pastrami, I don't want to do it.
Everyone does brisket, and you do brisket.
Well, that's a staple. I mean, this is more of this isn't a Texas barbecue. Texas barbecue.
The Carolinas and stuff.
But it's not common
in Texas.
But I guess, who cares? I just shouldn't care anymore. So I should just do everything. We should start doing elotes. We should start doing Texas Twinkies. We should start doing.
No, what we could do is do a party.
Yeah. that'd be
and
fun.
do like we're doing a couple whole hogs.
That'd
Come
be
out
fun
to the
do, like,
river.
an aloha Hawaiian style, but
Think
do a
outside
whole
the
hog.
box.
I know. I feel like,
Create your own experience.
but
Everyone
like,
else does. Everyone else makes
I
their
know,
experiences with bacon burn-in. So why can't we do a whole hog?
But when we did like burgers, there wasn't anyone else doing like smash burger, the way we did everything, all that. Now, like everyone does that.
Yeah,
like,
well,
all
and
of
I
our
think
stuff.
that's out of like necessity.
Loaded potato salad. No, so that's what I mean. So like, I just need to like throw that away and not care anymore, I guess. And
Well,
then
I think it's on like certain things, like us doing elotes does not make sense. It's not a Heim at all thing. A whole hog is like, that's a cool experience that Heim
Yeah.
could create.
but a
and
lot
be
of places just do what other people do, and it doesn't have.
Well,
anything
that we're
to do
never
with
going to
their-
do, and I
yeah.
agree with.
Okay, well, I guess there's a line there, I
Yeah.
guess, and that's why I haven't.
Like, you're not going to find hot Cheetos on our menu or whatever, you know.
I mean, hey, I love a good hot Cheeto.
Okay, well,
so,
there you go. You heard it here first.
I don't know. I would love to do whole hog. I think we could do it, especially River. We could do it, and it'd be really cool. So we should make that happen. This isn't a question. This is from Shug. Shout out Shug. This isn't a question, but I would like to request a Heim TikTok page where you smoke everything. Smoke a pizza, PB&J Sammy, anything with cheese. Really,
Should I
cheers.
start a TikTok for real?
So Paul's talked about that. This is what all the
I heard
kids
like all
do,
these
man.
crazy rumors about TikTok though, with like China. And
Oh, it's
stuff.
100% owned
So
by
then
China.
it's like I don't
yeah.
want to like do that.
Yeah, let me Google that. Because is
Oh,
that a
great.
conspiracy thing or is that a...
Well, they're gonna start watching you now, like they weren't before.
Oh
but-
my God. Like, yeah, like they're not already. Let me read this real quick.
dude! Like literally, everyone has a TikTok that like has social media.
In another sign of China's tightening grip on the country's growing tech sector, the government has taken an ownership stake in a subsidiary that controls the domestic Chinese social media and information platforms of ByteDance, the Beijing-based company that owns TikTok. So that's why I never downloaded one, which is like hilarious. Like they're not already watching and listening to everything we say, but I was worried that
Hello.
that they're just like recording everything. And
I mean,
don't
I
know, it's
haven't,
terrifying.
but I guess we could.
but this is like what the kids love, right? If we're trying to get the kids, trying to get the
Dude,
younger
I have
demographic.
people our age that are like, "Oh yeah, TikTok."
Well, I know Dan's on it a lot. Dan's a big
Is he?
TikTok guy,
Man, we talk about Dan every single episode.
which is funny because I haven't seen him in like 9 years.
Remember when he was like, "I don't believe in dinosaurs"?
It's pretty funny.
Oh, his birthday is like, yeah, his birthday is the same day as Tucker's. I think.
I still have his hat in my truck.
I know.
Um,
We literally took it to our luau in June and then like didn't give it to him, and then it was at the desk at the club, and then now it's just like in our car
the club.
since June.
Shout out Dan. Shout out Blake, by the way. Blake always listens to our stuff. Blake Stoker.
Oh yeah.
He's got some sort of like murder hornet infestation near a smokehouse. Yeah, he was talking about on Twitter or something. But
Let's
shout out
go
Blake.
to his place and then we can like visit your family. It's in Tennessee,
That would be fun.
right?
Yeah, I do want to do that.
Get us a cot.
Do we drive? I
come.
guess we have to drive.
No, man, I'm tired of doing that. Like driving across the world with Izzy in the car.
I wanna
Although
go
she
to
did
that-
better than we did.
Well, I almost
Well,
died.
then you just
so-
like don't have a car though, which is frustrating. So then it's like, and then like now with a kid, you're gonna have to get like an SUV or a van anyway. So you might as well just like drive an SUV there.
I want to go to that place in Georgia because then I can golf, and then you guys can go by the pool or whatever it
Okay.
is.
I mean, literally all you got to
do.
do is like be like, babe, these are the dates, and I'll be like, perfect, and then we'll like
right.
prepare.
Well, this has gone on for long enough. Don't you think?
Okay.
Do we have anything else?
No, I think that was it. The only other questions I got was like stuff about Thanksgiving, our favorite sides and stuff, which I think we've already mentioned. Sweet potatoes all the way.
HeimBarbecue.com/pre-order.
Yeah, today
Thanksgiving
is
packages.
Wednesday, so you have today, Thursday, and then till 5 o'clock on Friday. I will take everything down at 5 o'clock on Friday, which I need to be by computer when that happens.
Turkeys and hams going to be
Turkeys,
hard
hams.
to come by. So
Yeah.
if you want us to do all the cooking, then
You can also just buy a turkey or a ham. You don't have to do the whole package, or you can just buy, or you can get barbecue, or you can just buy a sides package. Like if you want to smoke your own turkey or do your own turkey at home, we can do all the sides for you and pie. So anyway, shameless plug. I don't care. I'm trying to sell turkeys.
Shout out. Yeah. And we're going to have Thanksgiving at our house.
We have officially,
right.
like I'm an old lady.
Yeah.
I officially have taken the torch for this year, and it's only because my mom got her floors done.
Right.
But I tossed my bid out there and was
I'm so excited.
I would like to host. So,
because we always spend the holidays driving from family to family. No, it's great.
Everyone,
it's great.
but it is miserable.
So great. But this will be awesome with Izzy. She can nap. We could have everybody at our house all day. Like if Neil comes, Neil's going to be here all day for sure. So football, and just hang out. But then we don't have to leave or go anywhere, which would be
Izzy,
awesome, man. So pumped about that. And we'll be getting a Heim barbecue Thanksgiving package.
We're getting the package, and then also like my side of the family, we all like bring one dish. So we're gonna have dubs, but it's good stuff. Melding of tradition, which is extremely exciting and a goal we've had for a very long time. Yeah. So at least for this year,
creating our own traditions. And as of like a few days ago, we've already put our Christmas tree up.
Yeah. Don't care. Shame away. Don't care. I put it up on Sunday.
Love it.
And today's Wednesday, so it's already been up. I've enjoyed it.
I love Christmas, so we're blowing right through Thanksgiving decorations and just
I've got
Christmas
pumpkins and Christmas up, so it's like a crossover.
Yeah, it's like a mix.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, shout out Tres Agaves, another wonderful episode sponsored by them. Drink responsibly. If you're having family over for Thanksgiving, you might want to have a little Tres Agaves handy. Yeah. Take a little swig if things get a little political
Partying
or religious.
Or for sad times.
Yeah, either way.
It's there for you. Heim Time Podcast, patreon.com / Heim Time Podcast. $5 a month, y'all. We really appreciate all the support that we've gotten.
It's so affordable.
And it's really affordable. It's like a Starbucks coffee.
Yeah.
Except once a month, which some of y'all do every day. So
yeah. iTunes, Apple, whatever. I don't even know if iTunes exists anymore. Spotify, YouTube. We also put these on YouTube after we put them on Patreon. And we'll do some more cool stuff too. So thanks for listening. Thanks for the support.
Have a great week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.